Far below the surface of the ocean, where sunlight fades into nothing, a different kind of world begins, a world without color, without warmth, without mercy. At depths where pressure can crush steel and temperatures hover near freezing, survival is not about strength, it's about adaptation, and few creatures represent that better than the anglerfish. In this silent, endless darkness, vision becomes unreliable, movement becomes costly, and food becomes one of the rarest resources on Earth. Most creatures here live on the edge of starvation, drifting slowly, conserving every bit of energy they have. But the anglerfish does something different. It doesn't search, it doesn't chase, it doesn't waste energy, it waits. The anglerfish belongs to a group of deep-sea predators that have evolved specifically for life in the abyss. Its body is soft and flexible, built to withstand extreme pressure. Its skin is dark, allowing it to blend seamlessly into the surrounding void. In many ways, it is almost invisible until it chooses not to be. Extending from the top of its head is a thin, rod-like structure known as the elysium. At the tip of this structure sits a small bulb called the escae. This is where the anglerfish reveals its most powerful adaptation. It glows. In a place where light does not exist, even the faintest glow can mean everything. For smaller creatures drifting through the deep, a flicker of light might signal food, or safety, or something worth investigating. And that curiosity is exactly what the anglerfish depends on. The glow is not produced by the fish itself, but by symbiotic bacteria living inside the lure. These microscopic organisms generate light through chemical reactions, creating a steady, eerie illumination. In return, the anglerfish provides them with a protected environment and a constant supply of nutrients. This relationship turns the anglerfish into a living trap. It hovers in the darkness, nearly motionless, gently moving its glowing lure back and forth. The movement is subtle, almost hypnotic, mimicking the behavior of small prey. To an unsuspecting creature, it doesn't look like danger. It looks like opportunity. Slowly, the target approaches. Closer, and then without warning the illusion shatters. The anglerfish's mouth opens with astonishing speed. Its jaws extend forward, creating a sudden vacuum that pulls the prey inward. The entire strike takes less than a fraction of a second. There is no time to react. No time to escape. It's over almost instantly. Inside that mouth is another terrifying adaptation. The teeth of the anglerfish are long, thin, and sharply curved inward. They function like hooks, designed not to cut or tear, but to trap. Once something passes between them, getting back out becomes nearly impossible. Every movement the prey makes only forces it deeper inside. And in the deep sea, a successful catch like this is not just a meal, it's survival. Food is incredibly scarce at these depths. Some anglerfish may go days, even weeks, without encountering anything edible. Because of this, they cannot afford to be selective. If something comes within reach, it must be taken. This has led to another remarkable feature, the anglerfish's expandable stomach. Unlike most predators, the anglerfish can consume prey that is nearly as large as its own body. Its stomach stretches dramatically, allowing it to store massive meals when the opportunity arises. It's a risky strategy, but in an environment where the next meal is never guaranteed, it's a necessary one. But this lifestyle requires patience. The anglerfish is not a fast swimmer. Its movements are slow and deliberate, conserving as much energy as possible. Instead of actively hunting, it relies on positioning, timing, and deception. It becomes part of the darkness itself. Hours can pass without movement, sometimes longer, but in the deep sea, time works differently. There is no rush, no urgency, only survival. And when the moment finally comes, it acts with perfect precision. What makes the anglerfish so effective is not just its physical adaptations, but how perfectly those adaptations work together. Every feature serves a purpose. Every detail contributes to its ability to survive in one of the harshest environments on the planet. The darkness hides it, the lure attracts prey, the jaws capture it, the teeth secure it. The stomach ensures nothing goes to waste. It is a system built for efficiency, refined over millions of years of evolution. And yet, despite how specialized it is, the anglerfish is not an aggressive predator in the traditional sense. It doesn't dominate its environment through force. It doesn't compete through speed or power. It succeeds through strategy. In a place where energy is limited and mistakes are fatal, the anglerfish has found a way to turn stillness into strength and patience into power. Even its presence changes the behavior of other creatures. In the deep sea, light is both rare and dangerous. While it can attract prey, it can also signal risk. Some animals have evolved to recognize and avoid unnatural glows, suggesting that the anglerfish's hunting strategy has shaped the ecosystem around it. It is not just a predator, it is part of a larger invisible balance. And yet, much about the anglerfish remains unknown. The deep ocean is one of the least explored regions on Earth. Vast areas remain completely untouched, hidden beneath miles of water. Every expedition reveals new species, new behaviors, and new mysteries. The anglerfish is just one example of what lies below. A reminder that even on our own planet, there are still worlds waiting to be discovered. Worlds where the rules are different, where survival takes on forms we can barely imagine, where creatures like the anglerfish have mastered the art of living in darkness, and somewhere in that endless black expanse, a small light is glowing right now. Not as a beacon of hope, but as a silent signal of danger, waiting for something, anything, to come just a little too close. In the vast emptiness of the deep ocean, survival is already a challenge. But for the anglerfish, one of the greatest challenges isn't finding food. It's finding a mate down here. Creatures are scattered across enormous distances. There are no crowded ecosystems, no constant interactions, just darkness and isolation. For many species, reproduction depends on chance encounters, rare moments where two individuals cross paths in an otherwise endless void. And for the anglerfish, those chances are incredibly slim. So evolution took a different path, a path so extreme it almost seems unreal. The male anglerfish is nothing like the female. In fact, if you saw them side by side, you might not even believe they were the same species. The female is large, powerful, and equipped with the iconic glowing lure. The male, on the other hand, is tiny, sometimes dozens of times smaller. He lacks the lure, lacks the massive jaws, and lacks the features that make the female such an effective predator. His only purpose is to find her. From the moment he is born, the male anglerfish begins a single mission: locate a female in the darkness of the deep sea. To do this, he relies heavily on his sense of smell. Specialized organs allow him to detect chemical signals released by females, guiding him through the blackness. It's a desperate journey, because if he fails, he doesn't survive. The male anglerfish cannot feed in the same way as the female. His body is not built for long-term independence. Without finding a mate, his life is short. But if he succeeds, something extraordinary happens. When a male finally encounters a female, he doesn't swim alongside her. He doesn't compete or perform displays. He bites her. Using his small but sharp teeth, the male latches onto the female's body. At first, it may seem like a simple attachment, but over time the connection becomes permanent. His tissues begin to fuse with hers. Their skin merges, their blood vessels connect, and slowly, the male anglerfish loses his independence entirely. His eyes degenerate, his organs shrink, even his brain begins to simplify, until eventually he becomes little more than a small appendage attached to the female's body. But this isn't a loss, it's a transformation, because now the male has achieved his purpose. By fusing with the female, he gains direct access to her bloodstream, receiving nutrients without needing to hunt. In return, he provides sperm whenever the female is ready to reproduce. It is a permanent bond. In some species of anglerfish, a single female may carry multiple males attached to her body at the same time, each one fused, each one serving the same role. This strategy ensures that reproduction is always possible, even in a place where meeting another individual could take a lifetime. It may seem extreme, even unsettling. But in the deep sea, it's a perfect solution, because here the usual rules don't apply. There are no guarantees, no second chances, only adaptation, and the anglerfish has taken adaptation to its absolute limit. This reproductive method is known as sexual parasitism. But unlike typical parasitic relationships, this one is essential for both individuals. The male depends entirely on the female for survival, and the female benefits from having a constant, ready source of sperm. It's not about dominance, it's about efficiency. Every aspect of the anglerfish's life is built around maximizing survival in an unforgiving environment, and reproduction is no exception. What makes this even more fascinating is how this process begins at the biological level. When the male attaches to the female, his body releases enzymes that break down the tissues at the point of contact. At the same time, the female's body accepts and integrates the male's cells, preventing rejection. In most animals, this kind of fusion would trigger an immune response and attack against foreign tissue. But in anglerfish, this response is suppressed or altered, allowing the fusion to succeed. It's a level of biological compatibility that is extremely rare in the natural world. Essentially, two separate individuals become one functioning organism. And once this transformation is complete, the male no longer needs to search, hunt, or survive on his own. He becomes part of the female's body, connected, dependent, and permanent. For the female, this means she never has to search for a mate again. In the vast emptiness of the deep ocean, that advantage is invaluable. It saves time, it saves energy, and most importantly, it ensures the continuation of the species in a world where survival is uncertain. This strategy removes one of the biggest risks, the need to find another individual. And while this process may seem strange from a human perspective in the deep sea, it is simply another example of evolution solving a problem in the most effective way possible. Because down here, there is no room for inefficiency, no space for wasted effort. Every adaptation must serve a purpose, and the anglerfish serves as a reminder of just how far life can go to survive. In the darkness, where encounters are rare and survival is never guaranteed, it has found a way to turn isolation into certainty, not by increasing its chances, but by eliminating the need for chance entirely. And in doing so, the anglerfish has created one of the most unusual and most effective reproductive systems in the entire animal kingdom. Even in a place as remote as the deep ocean, nothing exists in isolation. The anglerfish may seem like a solitary predator, drifting silently in the dark, but it is part of a much larger system, a hidden network of life where every movement, every signal, and every adaptation plays a role in survival. To understand the anglerfish fully, we have to look beyond the hunt and into the environment that shaped it. Because the deep sea is not empty, it only appears that way. In reality, it is filled with life strange, delicate, and often invisible to the human eye. Tiny organisms drift through the water column. Small fish move cautiously through the darkness. Bioluminescent creatures flash signals to communicate, defend, or attract. And in this world of signals and shadows, light becomes a language. A flash might mean danger, a glow might mean food, or it might be something else entirely. For the anglerfish, light is deception. But for other species, it's survival. Some creatures produce sudden bursts of brightness to confuse predators. Others glow to attract mates, sending patterns and pulses into the darkness like coded messages. There are even animals that release clouds of glowing particles, creating a distraction while they escape. In this environment, the ability to produce light is one of the most powerful tools evolution has created, and the anglerfish is not alone in using it. But what makes it different is intent. While many creatures use light defensively, the anglerfish uses it aggressively. It turns attraction into a weapon. It manipulates curiosity and transforms it into vulnerability, and that changes how other animals behave over time. Prey species begin to recognize patterns. Not every light is safe, not every glow means opportunity. Some signals become warnings. This creates an invisible tension throughout the ecosystem. A constant balance between attraction and caution. For every creature drawn toward light, there is another learning to avoid it. And in this silent struggle, evolution continues. The anglerfish, in a way, helps shape the behavior of the deep sea. Its presence influences how other species move, how they respond, and how they survive. It is both predator and pressure. But the deep ocean has another defining feature: scarcity. Unlike surface waters, where sunlight fuels entire food chains, the deep sea receives very little energy. Most of its nutrients come from above, drifting down slowly in the form of organic debris, often called marine snow. Tiny particles of dead organisms, waste, and microscopic material fall through the water like a constant, slow snowfall. For many deep-sea creatures, this is the primary food source. But for predators like the anglerfish, it's not enough. They need something more substantial, something with energy. And that's why the anglerfish's hunting strategy is so important. It doesn't rely on chance encounters alone. It increases its odds by creating attraction. By producing light, it actively pulls prey toward itself, turning a passive environment into an active opportunity. In a place where energy is limited, this small advantage can make the difference between survival and starvation. But even with this advantage, life is never easy. The deep sea is unpredictable. Food can disappear for long periods, conditions can shift, and competition, while less visible, still exists. Other predators roam the darkness, some faster, some larger, some equipped with entirely different strategies. There are creatures with enormous jaws that can snap shut like traps. Others use transparency to become nearly invisible. Some rely on speed, darting through the darkness to catch prey before it can react. Each species has found its own solution, and the anglerfish is just one answer among many. What makes it remarkable is not that it is the strongest or the fastest, but that it is perfectly adapted to its role. It doesn't try to outswim. It doesn't try to overpower. It waits, observes, and strikes only when the outcome is certain. This efficiency reduces risk because in the deep sea, injury can be fatal. There are no easy recoveries, no abundant food to regain lost energy. Every decision carries weight, and the anglerfish has evolved to make as few risky decisions as possible. But there's another layer to this ecosystem, one we are only beginning to understand: sound. While light is limited, sound travels extremely well underwater. Vibrations can move across long distances, carrying information through the darkness. Some scientists believe that deep-sea creatures, including anglerfish, may be sensitive to these subtle signals. The movement of nearby animals, the shifting of water, even distant disturbances, all of it could play a role in how these creatures perceive their environment. It's a world that operates on senses we can barely imagine, a world where sight is replaced by sensation, where light is rare but powerful, where survival depends on interpreting the smallest signals, and within this complex system, the anglerfish remains a master of deception. It doesn't just exist in the darkness, it uses the darkness. It turns absence into advantage, silence into strategy, scarcity into opportunity. And as researchers continue to explore the deep ocean, they are discovering just how interconnected this world truly is. The anglerfish is not just a strange, isolated predator. It is part of a living, evolving system, one that is constantly adapting, constantly changing, and still largely unknown. Every new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle. But for now, much of this world remains hidden, unseen, unexplored, ununderstood. And somewhere within it, the anglerfish continues its silent role shaping, influencing, and surviving in one of the most extreme ecosystems on Earth. A creature perfectly designed not just to live in the deep sea, but to belong to it. The deep sea is a place of extremes. Every creature that lives there must make the impossible possible. For the anglerfish, survival isn't just about hunting or reproduction. It's about thriving in a world where everything conspires against you. One of the most remarkable features of the anglerfish is its ability to consume almost anything it encounters. Its stomach is elastic, capable of expanding far beyond its body's normal dimensions. A single meal can last weeks, sustaining it in a place where food is unpredictable. This ability is essential because in the deep ocean, meals don't come often, and passing up an opportunity can mean starvation, but size alone isn't enough. The anglerfish has evolved a mouth and jaw structure that is terrifyingly efficient. Its teeth are long, thin, and curved inward, forming a cage that ensures prey cannot escape once it is entered. The jaw itself can open extremely wide, allowing the anglerfish to swallow creatures almost as large as itself. In a world where every calorie counts, the ability to consume large prey is a survival imperative. The ambush strategy is complemented by another adaptation, bioluminescence. The glow of the lure is controlled with precision. The anglerfish can adjust the intensity and sometimes even the movement of the light, mimicking the behavior of smaller organisms to attract prey. It is not just a passive glow, it is a deliberate signal, a carefully orchestrated trap in the darkness. Patience is key. The anglerfish drifts silently, almost motionless, waiting hours or even days for an unsuspecting creature to approach. It conserves energy, expending it only at the perfect moment. In the deep sea, where every motion consumes precious calories, this strategy maximizes efficiency. Energy management extends beyond hunting. The anglerfish's slow metabolism allows it to survive on limited resources. The scarcity of food has driven evolution to favor creatures that move deliberately, act strategically, and take advantage of every opportunity. Unlike surface predators that chase, and chase again, the anglerfish has learned that stillness can be more deadly than speed. This patience is mirrored in its reproductive strategy. Males fuse permanently with females, creating a system where energy and survival are optimized. The female can focus on hunting, while the attached males ensure reproduction whenever necessary. It's a union born from necessity, demonstrating that in the deep sea, life has evolved not just for survival, but for efficiency at every level. Even the anglerfish's appearance is a study in adaptation. Its dark, flexible body blends seamlessly into the surrounding void, making it nearly invisible to both predators and prey. This camouflage is essential in a place where being seen can mean death. Its soft, pliable frame withstands pressures that would crush most other organisms, allowing it to exist comfortably where few others can. The anglerfish's ecosystem is fragile and interconnected. Every adaptation from light production to jaw structure has consequences for other creatures. Prey species learn to recognize patterns, developing evasive strategies to avoid being caught. Other predators may evolve counter-strategies to compete for the same scarce resources. In this way, the anglerfish is both a product of its environment and an influencer within it. The deep ocean remains one of the least explored regions of our planet. Each expedition uncovers new species, new behaviors, and new mysteries. Despite being studied for decades, the anglerfish continues to surprise scientists with its extraordinary adaptations. Its combination of light-based hunting, ambush predation, extreme reproductive strategies, and efficient energy use makes it one of the most specialized predators on Earth. Perhaps most astonishing is how it has turned scarcity into an advantage. Where other creatures struggle to survive in isolation and darkness, the anglerfish thrives. Its adaptations, light, jaw, stomach, reproductive system work together like a perfectly tuned machine. Every feature exists for a reason, every action is purposeful, and every strategy increases the likelihood of survival. In the endless blackness of the deep sea, the anglerfish exemplifies the power of evolution to solve extreme problems. It is not just a predator, it is a master of efficiency, a strategist of darkness, and a creature perfectly tuned to the demands of its environment. And somewhere, far beneath the waves, that small glowing lure continues to pulse a silent invitation, a trap, and a testament to the extraordinary adaptability of life in one of the most unforgiving places on Earth.